Okay, in today's class, we're going to look at models. So we're going to look essentially, let's look at our three variations of our verb tense. So we know we can have our verb in do, did, and done. We know that did is what? It's the past. And the past is, well, how we tell stories, true or false. Done allows us to solve many problems in language. So done, we essentially look at the perfect tenses, past perfect, present perfect. On their own, we looked at past perfect last week, I think. And present perfect we've looked at a bunch of times, and we'll kind of break that down in classes. But it's the tense itself is a tool, and it allows you to solve many problems in language. It's not just this idea of, first of all, the grammar, where it's have plus the past participle, but it's a tool that lets you solve many functional things in the past. We can look at either measuring the amount of time you've been doing something in the present. We can look at a list of experiences in the past. We can look at the past with no defined time. We can look at the recent past, so things that just occurred only moments ago. We can look at experiencing the past for the first time. All of those are different communication needs that are solved with the present perfect. We're not doing that today. Also, with done, we can use passive voice and so forth. So, done as a way to transform our verb solves a ton of problems. But we'll look at the perfect there and passive, just for the hell of it. What we want to look at today is do. So do is what? Do is the present. And then we have to ask, well, what is the purpose of the present? What does the present do? Well, the present equals the future. It's very true. Whatever is true today is true tomorrow. If I do something today, well, then tomorrow there is the outcome of that thing that I do. Most of everything that kind of exists in the world is, physically consistent. I got cats here going fucking mad. Is physically consistent. If I do the same thing over and over, more or less the result is guaranteed. If the result is different, it's because I did it differently. I just wasn't aware of inconsistencies or how it changed. You right there? I'm trying to teach a fucking class here. But it's true. The present is the future. If I say, for example, I teach English, that's the present. It's a truth. But it lets you know that tomorrow I teach English, and the day after, and the day after, and the day after. So if I put, let's put a little bit of color in this, and we'll say, well, I teach Maria. Okay, so once again, this is just a fact, a truth. There's no feeling to this whatsoever. If I were to add time to this, I teach Maria on Thursdays. Let me make this a little smaller so it can all fit in one fucking sentence here. Where is it? No, there we go. All right, I teach Maria on Thursdays. So now we put time, we have what? Well, we have routine. Still, routine lets me know what? Well, if today is what? Today is Saturday, or it's whatever fucking day you're watching this, but either way for me, it's Saturday morning. We know this sentence lets us predict next Thursday. That's the whole point of that sentence, is predicting next Thursday, the Thursday after, the Thursday after, the Thursday after. It's a future concept. We're thinking about the future always. It's what humans do. Anything that is concrete and that is permanent today, well, it's permanent tomorrow. The present simple is like building blocks. It's the infrastructure of your life. They are these monoliths that we build the wall or the structure of our existence. Everything with the present simple is already concrete. It's not changing. It's fixed. And so our life is true because of these things that are true today. And so tomorrow will be true, the day after will be true. And we love that in our little existential brains, the idea that we are unchanging and our life, everything around us is permanent, that it lives forever. This is why in almost every religion you have, and every cult and every spirituality, you have the religion itself, which is subjective, which is anchored to some objective monolith. whether it's kind of like Judaism with the Wailing Wall, or Islam with Mecca, or Christianity with just all of fucking Jerusalem. There's always something concrete, some structure that has outlived all of us, that will outlive all of us, that is the root or the example of their faith. There's always this idea of something being permanent. We're addicted to that. This idea that things outlive us, and that way we as an idea live forever. So that's a far reach from I Teach Maria, but bear with me here. So I Teach Maria on Thursdays. It's routine. Routine lets me predict the future. And also, when we say this, the one thing we know about routine is it doesn't occupy the space in my brain, my abstract space in my brain. There are things that I'm thinking about right now that I have to do after my classes today, that I have to do tomorrow, that I got to do tonight as well, and in the next couple of weeks. You know, this is kind of like as adults, our random access memory. It's our desktop in our head of the things that we need to accomplish. And children don't really have this. I have an 8-year-old boy, and if you ask him, well, what are you doing at the moment? Or what are you doing? He'll tell you exactly what he's doing, because to him, the present is like a skin that he wears over his bones. He always lives in the absolute present. He is a reactive creature. He doesn't walk around thinking about the things he has to do next week. No, if you ask him what he has to do next week, he will respond, always. But he's a reactive creature. He lives only and entirely in the present. We, as grown-ups, we have abstract minds, which means we spend most of our time disconnected from the present and kind of walking around these vast and endless fucking corridors of our imagination, most of it filled with posters and remnants of our past that haunt us, things that we didn't accomplish, things we wish we hadn't have done or hadn't have said, things we wish we could have done or couldn't have said, our wasted potential, like a fucking a bedroom fucking closet filled with guitars and ad busters. You know, our mind is filled with all the projects that we put on hold, or we postponed, or whatever the fuck it is, or it's filled with this dark, gloomy corridor that's you turning 50 or 60, that you're being sucked towards like some black hole you cannot escape. That is inside the head of the average fucking grown-up. Just fearful chaos. But when I say I Teach Maria on Thursdays, it's something I don't have to think about. My routine is something that is automatic. I don't think at all. I don't feel at all. It's just, they're things I do. When I say, for example, I run every day, these are my routines. I run every day. I lift weights. So we'll just look at my exercise part of things. In my garage, 4 days a week. I practice yoga once a week. I practice Muay Thai usually twice a week. I meditate like twice a day. All of these things do not make me happy, sad, excited, or bored. They're just things that I do. They're my routine. I don't get excited about running. I just put on my shoes and go for a fucking 5 or a 10K run. I don't get excited about lifting weights. I just go into my garage, grab my kettlebells, and work out for an hour. I don't get excited about yoga. Just at fucking 10:15 every Thursday, I head down to my yoga. Muay Thai, again, I don't get excited. I just fucking go out to my bag and I start fucking throwing elbows. Usually for a person, when a person starts something brand new, they get very excited about that thing. They started a CrossFit class or a religious choir group or whatever the fuck they started. It's brand new and they're incredibly excited. And well, why do they quit that thing? Well, they quit because the moment they don't feel incredibly excited about it like they did on the first day, they think, well, I can't do it today. I don't feel like it. Whereas you don't need to feel anything about anything to do something. In fact, I mentioned this in a previous video, which is I don't know why I mentioned it, because we're supposed to be teaching English, not me teaching my shitty philosophy to you. I don't even know who you are. Is that more often, like when we looked at the difference between should, had better, and have to, like this way of use, and we'll see this here, provoking yourself into action, provoking yourself into doing things by not levels of obligation, but with should we look at shame, had to we look at fear, had better we look at fear, and have to we say that you have no choice, how you feel doesn't matter. More often we'll sit on the sofa and wait until we're inspired to start a project. Like for me, for writing, I'll wait until some wave of inspiration washes over me and gets me off the sofa and has me in front of the computer typing words. And that's not how inspiration works. In fact, you go to your computer, you open it up, you open up your fucking, your half-written document, your book, and you just start typing. And it's through the typing or through the writing that we become inspired. You never start inspired, you just start writing some stupid shit of once upon a fucking time. And as you're writing it, your brain starts going, oh fuck, what if we did this? What if we did this? What if we did this? And before you know it, time disappears, you disappear, the fucking world disappears, and you're engrossed. You're trapped inside this fucking story, and you've been writing for 5 or 6 hours, and now you have something at the end of it. You get inspiration through action. Inspiration isn't the first thing you get, and then you perform after it. It's not like fucking where you're unable to work unless someone starts the day by giving you a hug and telling you that you matter. No, you find a sense of purpose and utility in the thing that you do. What does that have to do with I teach Maria on Thursdays? Fucking nothing. No, kind of everything. So I teach Maria on Thursdays, it's future. It's the present, the verb is in the present, but we are always predicting or we're always understanding the future. But there's no emotion in this at all. It's just something that's absolutely true. So let's get to the emotion part. Well, let's look at the difference between, for example, I will teach Maria. I'm going to teach Maria. I have to teach Maria. I should teach Maria. I had fucking better teach Maria. I get to teach Maria. Is there any more of these? There's got to be more. There's like, I might, I could, blah, 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 blah. We get the idea here. All right, so what do we mean? When we look at these models, first of all, look, our verb, we're talking about the future. Our verb is always in the present here. Our verb has never stopped being in the present. This is, of course, let's make this fucking yellow, green, and blue, because that's just the way we do shit. So my subjects, my verbs, and Maria is an object. That's terrible. Maria is the object of the sentence, yes. Yes, we don't like to look at people as objects, but in grammar doesn't care. So in our 1, 2, 3, everything is the same. Look, it's still the simple present. It's still do. Where the fuck is do? Where the fuck up there? It's still do. Everything is still the present. Nothing's changed. All that's changed is these models. So what are these models? When we come up here, they're like filters. They come between the subject and the verb. And so what they do is they change the way we feel about the action. Some of them have very negative feelings and filters. Some of them are quite positive and exciting. Some of them are very shameful and heavy. Some of them are like very planned and very, oh shit, that's the wrong fucking color. Some of them are very certain and planned. But what they all are, so if we look at a timeline here, and we say, well, okay, well, this is me talking to you, and once again, you don't exist. Or, well, you watching this is just a very weird experience because you are, well, photos of me when I was a kid on the wall. But we'll get past that fucking odd thing that we're experiencing right now. This is me, and I guess this is you, the fucking square camera. So we're here in the present. So when we say, well, we know the past is what? Here. And the past is what? The past is a delusion. It's a story. There is no past. There is no such thing as the fucking past. There's just good storytelling. That's it. Delusional creations of, experiences. But it's all fucking fiction, which is something we must really put down here on paper. Something from, I wrote it in one of my last books. Everything written is fiction. Everything. Fucking everything. If it has been edited in any way, it's been edited to create flow. It's been edited to create impact. It's been edited to influence the reader in any way. And 100% of things that have been written have been edited. And if they haven't, well, the things that are written are shit. Because editing is everything. Editing is where the magic happens. So everything that is written, not if, Jesus, keying with your fucking, I was going to say schizophrenia, your dyslexia. Forgive me. I have a mental disorder. How dare you judge me in this time of non-judgment? I have a mental incapacity to write proper grammar. Everything written is fiction. That's why the only people who are honest in this world are fiction writers, because at least they tell you, they tell you that this story is nonsense. It's not real. It's just a bunch of rumors and innuendo. It's just a collection of silliness and truth and lies. Wound together and cooked into this wonderful concoction. But at least they're honest. They'll tell you, yeah, this is just nonsense, but there's meaning in it. And you can find a moral or like a mirror, a kind of a metaphoric, figurative perspective of your own life. You can find some meaning in this. What is not true is the biographies. Someone writes their story of their life and it's full of drama and event. How much of your life is full of drama and event? Most of your life is so fucking boring that you sit on your sofa in your head imagining it all coming unwound and having little panic attacks and then fucking clutching at your packet of fucking biscuits and fucking imported beers and dealing with your anxiety by fucking flicking through Instagram and swallowing Zen posts like sugar-laced candy. It tastes sweet on the lips, but fucking once it dissolves, the emptiness is still there. But life is not exciting. It's not. It's terrifically fucking boring. Right now, I had a moment of excitement with my cats, and now they're both fucking asleep. Well, 3 of them are asleep. And the dog is asleep, and there's shoes on the floor. But life is not exciting, very rarely. And so a biography is not real because nothing is compressed into this kind of 2-hour beat of excitement. No, everything's long and drawn out, and then when you're distracted by the boredom, a train comes and fucking knocks you over. But at least in fiction, we know that it's nonsense. When you read the newspaper, it's all fucking lies. It's not lies, but it's all been made up and produced for you. When you read biographies, it's all been made up and produced for you. Fuck, when you even read science journalism, it's all been written nicely to be impactful. At least fiction, we're not lying to you. We're saying, yeah, this is total horseshit, but at least you're going to enjoy it. You're going to pull a little fucking moral from it. So let's pull back to, holy shit, how the fuck? Oh, yeah, because the past is fiction. Everything's fiction. Jesus, Kian, get on track. We're supposed to be teaching a class here. Time's getting away from us. We're supposed to be doing this in like fucking 5 minutes. It's gone over. So this is me and you in the present here. Hi. So where is the future? Well, the future's here, right? No, there is no future. There is only ever now. Oh, fuck, we're going to go on a philosophical fucking thing, aren't we? We are. There is no difference between a child, a boy who's 9 and a boy who's 90. They're identical. Now, for both of them, has always felt like a fucking eternity. You ask a 9-year-old and you say, well, how long your life has felt like how long? He'd be like, oh my God, an eternity. Yeah, because that's exactly what now feels like. There's only ever now. You wake up, it's now. It's always just now. And whether you're 1 day old or 1,000 days old, it always felt like an eternity. Now is forever. So, like the 9-year-old boy and the 90-year-old man, neither one can remember their birth or actually ever imagine their death. Both of them are trapped in this paradox of time, this sense of eternity. So when someone dies young, they didn't die young. They lived their whole life. It doesn't matter if you're 90, when death touches you on the shoulder, you're still thinking, fuck, I've only just tied up my laces. The race has just begun. Give me one more day, because now is forever. So the future doesn't exist. What is the future then? The future is just an abstract concept in our head. Oh shit! Why? All right. We'll go with lightning strikes here. We'll make this a little bigger. Key and get prepared. So this is the average kind of person here. They have eyes, and they have a nose, and they have a mouth. And we'll say that the future exists only in their head. That's it. It's just an abstract construct in their head. And I mean, you ask the average person, how do they feel about the future? Well, here's the thing on time. A young child who has no abstract mind, they live entirely in the present. They see the future as one event that's coming towards them. And so the future is usually always awesome. It's their birthday or it's Christmas. But that's it. The future is very one-dimensional. It's just a flat event that's moving towards them in time and space. And it's always taking fucking forever. Well, a grown-up, an adult, and this starts really with puberty, but through life experience it gets far more and more and more intense, but also absurd, is that your perception of time is very different. The future is this, what we said before, this black hole, and you are slipping towards it. And you're trying as much as you can to slow everything down, but before you know it, the day's already over. A month is gone. It's Christmas again. Holy shit, you're turning 43. And you perceive time in this far different fucking spectrum. So children, they don't really think about the future as a negative thing. They're usually excited about it. In fact, the same little vibrating energy represents, children and adults. When children think about the future, they're either bored or excited. But generally, the future is always exciting. For adults, that same fucking energy, instead of excitement, becomes anxiety. Because we're aware of all the possible things that could go wrong. And it overwhelms us, and we're incapable. And in fact, the more we study, the more we learn about all the things that could go wrong. And so we're scared to death about the future. And so if we think like the average person thinking in their heads is thinking kind of scary shit all day long. So once again, King, what the fuck does this mean? Well, all of these models we'll say are like Instagram filters. They change the way you feel about the verb. So I'm going to make this one yellow. I would prefer to do it in a bright white, but it's going to be yellow. Going to is kind of like a dark blue. Have to is, once again, it's a red. Should is a dark purple, especially I should is a dark purple. Had better is a blinding fucking like orangey. And I don't have fucking orange here, motherfuckers. But that's not an orange. Give me a real orange. Don't we have like is that orange? That's not fucking like scary orange. I gotta fucking do it, don't I? Where the fuck is it? There? No. Yeah, all right. So had better is like this warning, this bright, not amber, it's just fucking screaming warning with an air raid siren. I get to is what? It's this green color. Oh, that doesn't fucking work. Can I do that? I can do it here. There, and then make it there. That's it. I get to is this. So why are these different colors? Well, we say, well, what's the difference between I will teach Medea and I'm going to teach Medea? Or we say, well, what's the difference between I'll call you at 3 and I'm going to call you at 3? Well, the difference is in the emotion. I'll call you at 3 is me making an empty promise, reacting to the future for the first time. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, I'll do that later. Yeah, I'll clean up later. Yeah, no, I'll call you at 3. I will. Yeah, totally. And in this case, absolutely, I forget. But when I tell you I'm going to call you at 3, what I'm actually saying is I have a plan to call you at 3. So this one is fucking going to happen. Listen, I'm going to call you at 3, all right? Make sure you have your phone, all right? Don't want to waste my fucking time here. So they both represent, once again, the future, but they represent differently how we feel about it. We're going to come back to will because we're going to look at what that does as well in a second. I have to, once again, teach Maria doesn't change, but I have to is not obrigação, it's not obligation. I have to tells me I am restricted. I have no choice. And it's also the thing of how I feel doesn't matter. It's like when you're a child, everything is have to. When you say I have to, what you're doing is you're applying the bonds and that bondage of childhood. You're either telling it to another person like, I can't go, I have to do this, and you're telling them that you're restricted, or you yourself are trying to apply those bonds. You know, the only difference between a child and a grown-up is not that a grown-up can do whatever they want, it's that a grown-up is able to say no. And usually, and no, always, the grown-up will only say no to the maintenance of their life, the things that will make their life better. Spending time in the garden, pulling out the weeds, instead of sitting in a deck chair drinking beers and looking at the fucking roses. You know, you stare at the roses long enough, and then those little weeds make a stranglehold, and they kill the fucking roses. So the maintenance of life is a pain in the ass. In fact, the more you maintain life, you realize you never spend your time looking at roses ever. The old lady with a beautiful garden, she doesn't know what her roses look like because she spends the whole time in the dirt pulling out fucking weeds all day long. To her, there's always a weed there. She's never satisfied. She's always a little worried. She's never content. And that's why her garden looks so fucking good. But the irony is she never really gets to see that. She dies inside that garden. So I have to, is us as adults coming back to kind of that restrictive bondage of us saying, really, how I feel doesn't matter. Yeah, no, fucking, I have to go do it. So once again, the verb never changes. Just how I feel about that does. Should is shame, vergonha. Yeah, I should is me being introspective, going, what the fuck is wrong with me? Jesus Christ, for fuck's sake. I should. I should. Jesus Christ, Kian. Jesus Christ. And that's it. I'm trying to provoke myself into action through shame. I had better, on the other hand, is that one step up like, oh, fuck, what am I doing? I'd better do this. I'd better teach Maria. No, because if I don't teach Maria, I'm fucked. I'd better bloody well do it. This time, I'd better do it. And that's it. I had better is now you, in the present, trying to threaten yourself. But the difference, there's an extremity in the emotion, but objectively, there's nothing different. You're on your sofa, and you're just feeling a different emotion. The model forces you to feel one exact emotion. Should makes every person think vergonha. Should makes every person think shame. Had better it scares you. It forces your brain to dump cortisol and noradrenaline into your system. Your heart starts fucking beating, your stomach, your intestines start turning, and you start to become physically overwhelmed and scared, and that provokes you into action, into doing something, into making a decision, making a phone call or booking something in. Whatever it is, it's just an emotion. So is this. But look, the verb is just us saying something. It's always in the present. I get to is me going, holy shit, I can't believe I get to fucking teach Maria. That's fucking awesome. That's great. Either I had a restriction before and through luck, that restriction's gone, or it's just me looking at how fucking lucky my life is. You know, for me, I say, I can't believe I get to do what I do. I got a ton of students and they're all fucking incredible people. Every goddamn one of them. I can't believe I get to do what I do. That I get to sit and have conversations with beautiful fucking people all day long. absurd, fucking absurd. Especially for a guy who spent 3 weeks in university, had a panic attack, quit, joined a rock band, traveled around the world, got addicted to drugs, got off the drugs, moved to another country, married a lass, and ended up in this space with you. I can't believe I get to do what I get to do. It's fucking amazing. It really is. So get to, what is that? Once again, the verb never changes. All we're doing is we feel lucky, and we're expressing that. And that sensation of what the fuck do you call it? This is where editing would be good, but I don't like to edit. What's the point? It takes the raw stupidity out of my classes. What is that fucking emotion, brain? Cats, help me. Where we, oh yeah, like gratitude, right? You have that moment where you kind of look around at something you just do every day and you're like, holy shit, I can't believe I get to do this. This is fucking insane. And that's an emotion. That's a sensation that fucking washes over you. It has a color, it has a sentiment, and it has a sound. That sentiment and color has a sound, and that sound is get to. The fearful one. That sentiment, that dark yellow abiding fear. If this doesn't happen, we're fucked. That too has a sound. And the sound of that color is had better. The one that is like a heavy blanket of regret and remorse. Oh man, what the fuck am I doing? I should be doing something different. God damn it. That one has a sound too. And the sound of that heavy, trolling feeling inside of you, it should have to. Well, that's that removing all of those emotions, forgetting all those negative emotions, saying how I feel doesn't fucking matter. I have to. And that's that. It's just like sobering reality that your emotions don't matter. That has a sound too. Have to. Going to, your bags are packed. You're happy. It's going to fucking happen. That's it. It's got a sound. It's got a color. It's got a feeling. And I will, empty promises. But I will's not so bad either. We're going to finish up here because I got to teach a class in another fucking, what is it? Oh, 20 minutes. We're fine. So, first of all, when we look at this, we think, well, where are we? We're here in the present, right? I'm talking to you. The future's here. All these models just reflect not the future, but they reflect how I feel about the future in the present. So one of them is, for example, I have to. Then, where's my orange? I had better. I get to. And there's more models. I just fucking, I do not prepare any of these recordings just to fucking let you know. Like zero, there is no script. There is not one note. There's just me saying, what should I record today? Let's do models. And then fucking record. That's it. So, but that's pretty much my life. We're getting a really raw experience of Kian's teaching methods right here. So all of these just reflect how I feel today, right fucking now, thinking about the idea of teach Maria. The verb never changes. It's still in the goddamn present. Just to understand that concept is he gets to teach Maria. He had better teach Maria. He should teach Maria. Teach never fucking changes. The verb is always do. The verb is always in the present because what's in the future is the way you feel, your abstract thought. That's it. So then what's a really cool functional purpose of will? We know that will on one idea is like an empty promise. It's you reacting to the future for the first time. Oh yeah, I'll do that. Oh, I'll call her later. No, I'll finish that. I'll send you an email later on. And most of those things I forget because we make promises all the time for the future. There's one other kind of nice thing that will does. When we get back to the average person with lightning bolts in their head and straight line eyebrows, and not one, oh, there we go. Let's get some pupils. There we go. Now it's realistic. And ears. There we go. And a silly goatee. For some fucking reason, a mohawk. All right, and fucking glasses. There we go. Oh, look, it's me. All right, so when the average person, when they're thinking about the future, when they're sitting on their sofa, because life is so fucking boring that you have to imagine the future. Because that's all you're doing, right? Well, before this class, that's what you're doing. Probably during this class 20 times, that's what you did. Life is long, boring, and nothing actually happens. So you spend all your time in your imagination. Well, tell me, like, inside that thought, is it something super positive? I mean, are you always going, oh my God, I can't believe I get to do this. This is amazing. Or are you spending most of your time going, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with me? What the fuck? Like, are you constantly feeling shame? Are you constantly excited? Why don't I have a fucking yellow here? Are we making like promises for things and plans for things? Are you feeling like these last minute choices of, oh God, I'd better do this, I'd better do that? Like, are you feeling shame? Are you feeling fear? Are you feeling gratitude? Are you kind of feeling restricted constantly in your life? Or are you making lots of promises? We can say like the average person is spending most of their time freaking the fuck out, right? The average grown-up is spending most of their time feeling inadequate, imposter syndrome, thinking that they're not doing enough, and that even if they're doing a lot, once again, like the old lady with the fucking with the roses, she doesn't stop to smell the roses. Why? Because if she does, she feels that the weeds are going to take a stranglehold. So she spends all of her time on her knees with her hands buried in the soil looking for little weeds. If she waits until the weeds are visible, well, then the roots are too fucking big and they're already going to kill the fucking garden. So she has to spend her time every morning with her fingers buried in the soil. Even if she finds no weeds, that doesn't bring contentment. That just means the weeds are there and that there's one growing somewhere that she hasn't found yet. So she'll spend her whole life inside that garden looking for them. That's us. Is even when things are content and things are good, we're worried because weeds can be growing somewhere. So we're always trying to improve ourselves, to better ourselves, to increase our knowledge, increase our learning. We're always kind of studying and evolved, and we're in the filthy, dirty sediment of our own existence. That's what it means to be a human being, to never truly see the flowers that are the result of our life, the result of our work. Inevitably, we die inside of that fucking soil. We dig so far into the dirt that we dig our own grave. And then the sand, the soil collapses in around us. And then the flower is, what grows out of our gaping mouths, out of our bodies. And that's for other people to see always. That's the beautiful nature of existence. Oh, that's fucking heavy. What does will do? We can say most people are having fucking freakouts. Like scared to death that the future is going to suck. And what do you do? What do you tell them? It'll be okay. It'll be fine. A bit of Australian. Should be right. What is the purpose of will? It's not an empty promise. The purpose of will, in this case, is to remove a person's anxiety. On average, people are scared to death. They are. On average, people are having panic attacks. There's all nervous energy inside their head. And when you tell them, listen, it'll be fine, psst, that nervous energy goes away like popping a balloon. That's one of the main functions of will. It's a form of empathy. It's just like, and it is. It's a fault. You don't know it's going to be fine. You're lying your fucking ass off. But you're doing that to get them to stop panicking, to bring them back to reality, just like Eminem. And on the other side of the spectrum, we can introduce anxiety or excitement. Hey guys, we'll go to the park tomorrow. Really? Really? Yeah! And all of a sudden the children's their tiny little brains are filled with excitement, and we make them feel what we want to feel. But as adults, we spend most of our time, telling people, look, it'll be fine, it'll be okay. When I tell you, for example, I'll call you at 3, most of the time that is to remove anxiety. Or we'll say like you say, for example, I have to be at the airport. The airport by 4. And you're panicking. I can hear it in your voice. You're like, fuck, I have to be there by 4. I have to be there by 4. I say, relax. I'll be at your place by 2. I'm making an empty promise. That's all this is. But the reason I'm doing this is not like that the future cannot exist. I cannot do this function without saying these words. It's not like alakazam. It's fucking the ingredients for the future to occur. No, it's to make you chill the fuck out. The whole purpose of will, it is a sharp, pointy little object that makes you go, all right, cool. All right, cool. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Yeah, I'll speak to you tomorrow. And that's one of the main things. Will is this beautiful aspect we have as human beings where we care. Because we know most people are just freaking the fuck out and they have no reason to. They don't need to at all. So when we look at will, we can either introduce excitement or we can remove anxiety. Part one is for kids, because adults rarely feel excited about the future. We don't. And part two is for grown-ups. You know, we spend most of the time telling people it'll be fine, it'll be okay. Or when we get to the Australian version, think, mate, should be right. It'll be okay. Everything will work out fine. And that's it. There's a quick lesson in this. But the idea here is to show you that the verb never changed. So when we come all the way back up to the top, we have do, did, and done. Did, we know, is the past. Done is the passive and all that type of nonsense, which we'll look at in the future videos. And do is the present. But the present equals what? The present is the future. Everything that's true today is true tomorrow. The karma is just the outcome of work. That's all karma is. Karma isn't that like the universe is kind of an angry woman with a broom is going to slap you in the back of the head because you're an asshole. No, karma just means, the outcome of work. What you do today, the result comes tomorrow. It's very much that. And most things, if you perform them in the way they need to be performed, understanding the environment in which they are being performed, outcomes are very predictable. Really fucking predictable. So predictable that we can just pass around one sentence that represents an abstract idea in my head. And we can build a rocket on different parts of the world and send it to the moon. Or in the case of those ladies and gentlemen who were working on different parts of the world with satellites and computer systems and complicated programs and a bunch of pythons to take data, like to scrape data from a black hole from, I think it was M71, I can't remember the fucking name of these things, but to scrape data of a black hole in a distant, I think it's in our galaxy. I don't fucking know. I don't know these things. I forget these important details that probably would have made this look like I actually know what I'm talking about. So don't blame me. It is a genetic thing. If you blame me, that makes you a terrible person because you are prejudicing. Yeah. But these people in different parts of the world were able to kind of scrape data, put it together, and in separate rooms create these ideas of what a black hole would look like. And that's the beautiful thing of language, is language allows us to kind of build an abstract idea of the future in our heads, and people around in different parts of the world with that same language, hopefully, because once again, we have what I call the OTAG problem, where when I write the word gato to you on glass, you read the word OTAG. That's one of the problems in communication, is that the language that I code my world in is very sacred to me. And so when you send me a word that means X in your country, in my country it means Y. And that's where we get lost in interpretation, because we very rarely do we align our systems. We all have the same binary code, but we all have different rules for where those binary numbers start and end. And the difference between a JPEG and a GIF is just where the beginning and the end of those binary numbers are, and how they represent and how we can create images. Well, that's the basis of our language structure too. And one of the major complications of communication, the only complication, is how generationally we understand language. Every generation is the way that a generation takes control is not by kind of invading the structures. It's by changing the language of the structures. It's what young people are doing today. It's just the sense of rebellion is just by changing the definitions of things and then putting those new definitions onto a public platform, in this case like Twitter or whatever it might be, and then forcing everyone to be part of that system. Oh shit, I gotta go fucking teach. That's it. I'm going off onto a tangent there. Models do. Our models, in short, are just they're just filters. They change the way we feel about the verb. The verb never changed. It was still do. What's true in the present will be true in the future. The only thing that's different is how we feel about that verb. Some of those emotions are scary. Some of those emotions are shameful. Some of those emotions are grateful and joyful. But that's all it is. It's just paint on our canvas. That's it. All right, guys. As always, love the people that love you. Everyone else is just a piece of shit.